I didn't realize, but like with waitressing,
Mm.
and I do a joke about this as well, but the truth is I had very big I still have very big boobs. Have you not seen Puppetry of the Penis?
No, I haven't, honestly. What is it about?
These crazy ass white men, they take their penis and they change it to all kind of puppet shapes. And I'm a bit of a control freak, and I was always a bit funny. They started to discover in comedy that if white guys can't just run everything.
Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Behind the Funny, and this week's guest, we have the wonderful Dana Alexander, who's going to tell us all about her comedy journey, where she began and how she got there. Dana, welcome. How are you doing, Dana? How are you doing, sweet?
Really good. Can you see? I want every black person on this thread to know you can get sunburnt, you know. What kind of, every time you see that wrinkly white man on the beach, know what can happen to you and put on your SPF.
Listen to this girl. Dana, how are you doing, sweetie? You all right? Because you're currently you're not in the UK. Where are you?
I'm in Thailand.
Okay, what are you doing over there?
I went through a breakup and a breakdown. So I found a cheap flight and I just decided to take a bit of a break.
Okay. So Dana,
I didn't actually go through a breakdown. That's fine.
I don't think you. No, you're too strong a person for that. Dana, tell us something. How long, first of all, have you been doing comedy?
I started when I was 18, and now I'm 21. So 3 years.
This is gonna be a classic to you. And you're not originally from. Where are you from? Tell us where you're from.
I'm from Canada, the shit America.
Somewhere else.
Someone said that to me. I used to do that as material. It's like, you're just from a shit America, though, innit? Someone said that to me on the train. I was so shocked. I was like, we have healthcare.
You started comedy. You started on a serious note now. You started when?
18.
So when you was 18. And what actually got you into comedy?
I enjoy ridiculing people. And if you give me money, I'm ready.
How did that start? Ridiculing people?
Well, actually, I went to art school. I did drama and acting, all that stuff. And the reality was that the parts for Black women were very few and far between. And even when you were considered, you were playing the most stereotypical roles. And I'm a bit of a control freak. And I was always a bit funny. And it was actually a comedian by the name of Mike Scott who said to me, you should be a comedian. You're very funny. And I said, really? And then I just did it. And then I never left.
And this is when you was 18 when you did this, yeah?
18, yeah. I started when I was 18.
What did
3 years ago.
I'm not going to reveal your real age, right? No, we'll keep it 3 years ago. Dana is 21 years old. Really? So listen, Dana, before comedy, what did you do? Or what did you want to do?
I went to high school. But during the first few years, I was a waitress. I worked for Park Station. I used to do after school care. I did extra work. I worked as a temp for offices. And I used to dispatch men at Labor Ready. That was crazy. You know, the work today, pay day guys, like those rough ass dudes that are like on crack and you got to send them to a job site. I did that for a while. I've done, do you know what, to be honest, I'm a girl who's had like 45 jobs. Okay. And I used to just, as soon as I got a tour, I just quit it. And then I come back and just get another job. That was me for like all of my 20s.
But then which one of those roles did you enjoy the most?
Well, I didn't realize, but like with waitressing, and I do a joke about this as well, but the truth is I had very big, I still have very big boobs. It was so helpful for tips. Do you know what I'm saying? You got a little bit of titty and some good personality, you can walk home with a couple bills every shift. And I didn't even have to work in the evening. It was so nice.
Okay. So why did you leave that if you was getting enough money?
You didn't hire me? You know why I left? Because I'm hilarious. What are you talking about right now? You,
Okay.
you trying to ask me something for a side of fries? What the fuck?
No, man. But, so anyway, listen. I mean, we met some years ago, Dana. We met some years ago. When I first saw you was in Canada. I can't remember the show. I think it was a show probably for John Simmett or something that we done. All right. I
Oh
think
yes, I remember.
yeah, right. And I think you just come to the UK, yeah, and you was experiencing comedy. How did you find the transition from Canada? In fact, what was the comedy scene in Canada at the time before you came to the UK?
Well, I was very lucky in Canada. The comedy scene was limited, so like I was fine. Like I could make a living as a comic in Canada, but
Mhm.
my mother's born in Britain, so she
Right,
immigrated to Canada in 19. You want to know the story? My mother, her father won 67,000 pounds in 1965 on some dog races, and he was
right.
from Guyana. And he was like, we need to get out of this terrible place. And he tried to go to Australia, but at that time they had a no blacks policy.
Serious?
So my yeah. So my grandfather bought 3 properties in Canada with his winnings, which was basically like £1 million in today's terms when house prices were actually affordable. Because I mean, now you can buy half a flat for £1 million.
Yeah, yeah,
But he
yeah.
bought 3 properties. He lived on a farm and made that his income. My grandfather was the ship. He came on. He's Windrush, Guyanese. But his job was he used to fix the big ship engines. It
Right.
takes teams of men to fix a ship engine, and my grandfather was like the boss of those guys.
Oh wow. Okay. And so he came over to England. Where did you settle first?
And
In the
yeah,
UK.
and then he came to London and he got my half Irish, half English granny. I'm a quarter devil. I don't know if you know that about me,
No, what did
but
you
hey, it's a joke. It's a joke. Don't
yeah.
cancel me. But yeah, he met my grandmother at a dance and he got her pregnant. And the first abortion nearly killed my grandmother. So she had to go through with a whole life of
Mhm.
Black people because she's Catholic.
Okay.
That's my life. My
Okay.
mom's life, anyways. I'm so glad I didn't have to go through that portion.
So then you was brought up. So you was brought up in Canada. You've come over to the
Mm-hmm.
UK, and
Mm-hmm.
was there a difference? Did you see a difference in the attitudes towards you, or how people,
Yeah, I always feel like a little bit of an outsider with Black British people, even
Okay,
though they think of me as Canadian, but they don't understand that I'm like if I look on my mother's side, I'm like ninth generation British,
mm,
but they don't see me as British because of the Canadian stopover, which is fine, which is great. I mean, I don't know. There's not a lot of Black Canadian girls in comedy. In fact, I think there's 7 of us.
you actually counted the numbers.
There's literally 7 of us
Well,
instead
the
of
thing is,
Black Canadian girls. Yeah.
I actually only know you as the female Canadian comedian. I don't know any other comedians. And who are they?
Catherine Ryan.
Oh, Catherine. I didn't know she was coming.
There's
Oh,
no
yeah,
Black girl.
yeah, yeah.
Black girls?
Yes, I know
Sabrina
Catherine.
Douglas, Keisha Brownie girl. That's my girl.
Mhm.
And then some other girls that came after me. I was the pioneer.
There you go. You're the top
I'm
one.
the prototype.
Right,
Just so you know, I'm
right.
the one. I'm the first one, the first tracking out of snow. And they come after, but there's only 7. We still need to make a bigger track.
Now you listen to me because when you're talking with a Jamaican twang. All right. How did
Mhm.
that come about? Because you just told us that your father's Guyanese and your mum was Irish. Half
No,
Irish.
my
Did you say?
mother's Guyanese.
Oh, your mother's Guyanese.
My mother's mixed race. My grandfather's Guyanese. My father's Jamaican.
Right. So that's where it's. Have you ever been to Jamaica?
Twice.
Okay. And what do you think of it?
I know it's funny though because I live in England. My mom's British. My grandma's British. My great grandma's British. I'll never tell you I'm British, but I will definitely tell you that I'm Jamaican Canadian
Yeah. Yeah.
twice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just bring Jamaica to Canada.
we've gone slightly blurred on the thing, but I think you're back now. Yeah, you can hear me now because the slight breaking up, but it's all good. But don't worry, this.
I told you hotel Wi-Fi.
Yeah, so you're in the hotel in Thailand.
I am in a hotel in Thailand. Do you want to see?
No, not just yet. So, just in case this thing does
Don't
not
depress yourself.
So listen. So how is the comedy going for you?
Comedy is always all right. You know what? As soon as first of all, they started to discover in comedy that white guys can't just run everything, because what was happening is there's a lot of people in society who have zero interest in white men. There's a lot of people in society who have zero interest in men. So what's happening with comedy clubs as our populations become more diverse, they're starting to realize, oh, damn, we need some girls, we need some black people, we need some Muslim people, we need some gay people, we need some old people, do you know what I mean? So because in England, I'm black, female, and foreign, they love it, because if they hire me, they can hire the rest of the acts can just be white men, because with me, they can tick like 3 boxes at a time. So it's good.
Yeah, I get you. So whereabouts do you perform when you're in the UK?
Everywhere, but I perform all over the world. Since I moved to the UK, I work in 53 countries. Nice. But next weekend I'll be in Cardiff, and the weekend after that I'll be in Leeds. Before I left here, I was in London, and the week before that I was in Glasgow. But I do quite like to do the foreign circuit. I have some dates in Canada, some dates in Dubai coming up. I like to do Holland, Scandinavia, Denmark, basically everywhere, South Africa, Vietnam, Thailand, Singapore. There's lots of countries out there.
And when you go to these countries in terms of your comedy, how do you translate? How do they take to you, and how do you adapt your material to suit?
Well, the standard when it comes to the whole culture of comedy has basically been started by Americans, and most people stand-up comedy, that is, so when people look to the biggest comics in the world, they see a Chris Rock, they see a Bill Cosby, they see maybe a Louis C.K. or a Bill Burr. Do you know what I mean? But most of these guys are coming out of the United States. The rest of the world, most people cannot tell the difference between a Canadian and an American. I do well on the foreign circuit because I have one of those accents that's very generic. Right. And I think because, the last 15 years that I've been living in Britain, 14 years, I move around. So I've always been really cognizant of all the jokes that I write. I know that they need to travel. Do you know what I mean? Because some people write a joke that will just work in Manchester, or that will just work in this. I do have those jokes, but all of my material, I keep it in mind that I might have to go to Singapore with this material. That's how I do it. And I think there's a lot of very universal, relatable themes. Relationships, children, poverty. There's so many different themes that people hit on. But also, when it comes to English-speaking comedy, the Americas kind of set the standard, and I fit into that bill. So I actually have a bit of an advantage when it comes to English-speaking comics, because they can understand me always. They always understand my accent.
Where would you say you get your inspiration from to write?
Well, frustration.
Okay.
Caucasity. People really try you. When you're a Black woman, people will try you in this world. And because my mom was raised by a white woman, she has that Karen in her, which I have a bit of it in me as well. So I'm like, a lot of Black women in situations that I'm in will shut up. I will not. I will not. So sometimes I get into trouble.
Let's dwell into that when you say, because I'm not a woman, obviously, but I'm a Black guy. But how is it for when you say get into trouble and you don't, you stand up for yourself? Give me a scenario where that's happened to you, and how you dealt with it.
You know the truth. I got kicked out of the Black WhatsApp group. They kicked me out.
What Black WhatsApp group?
Did you know that? Rudy has a comedians.
I missed that. We need to get that bit in. We really do need to get that in. So you're talking about a WhatsApp group, yeah?
I don't care though. I like to start some trouble. I don't give a shit. You're not involved? They didn't invite you to the Black WhatsApp group?
I stay away from groups.
They invited me and they didn't invite you? You were out the loop, bro.
No, I tell you
they invited me. Those Black people invited me, but they didn't invite you.
No, I'm going to tell you something about groups. I don't go into groups because I don't participate in gossip or anything, and I don't want to be part of that to say.
It wasn't gossip.
Oh, right, okay. But that's the reason why I
say they love to bash on.
Oh, where did she go? Let's pause this for a minute. Any scenario where you stood up for yourself as a Black woman.
Well, I'm always a Black woman when I've never stood up for myself as a white woman unless I was on the phone. You know what it is for me? It's like people will just try you, A, because you're a woman, and B, you're Black. You know they're going to try you because you're Black. They say some shit to you they ain't going to say to a white dude. Do you know what I mean? And when you're a Black woman, they say some shit they wouldn't say to a man, and they say some shit that they wouldn't say to a white woman. So they basically double down on you. It's interesting. Oh, God. Where do I even begin? Where do I even begin when I think about this stuff? Do you want to go with, like, just day-to-day interactions? Like, I still go into stores and people think I'm trying to steal at my big age.
Okay.
Oh, they totally think that I'm trying to steal. Or, like, when I was in Vietnam, they were just like, quiet, calm. I'm like, people always tell me to calm down. People are constantly telling me to calm down. You know what? If you tested my blood type, it's THC, okay? I'm very calm. I'm a very calm girl. Like, they don't even want to see me hype. But like, and that's the worst part, is that I feel like I can't laugh too loud. I can't speak too loud, or I can't shake my ass too hard, because these people are just like, oh, what's going on over there? You know what I mean? Else. But even, you know what I feel like? I feel like I'm kind of in between, because there's not a lot of Canadian Jamaicans. So I feel sometimes almost like a mixed race person, where it's like Black people don't fully accept me and white people do not fully accept me. So then you get to a point where you're just like, you know what? Fuck all y'all. I'm doing me. I'm just going to be myself. Maybe you'll like it and maybe you won't.
How did that come about? Or is that something that you see for yourself, or is it something that a factual information that you know that certain people don't like you, or is it just something that you just feel?
It's something that I feel. I mean, when you get blocked from a WhatsApp group, you know the score.
Well, let's talk about the WhatsApp group. Because I don't know anything about it. I really don't. I wasn't in the group, so I don't understand.
Are you ready though? Okay. They love to diss on trans women. They love to diss on trans women. Mm-hmm. So I started them. I asked competition. Easy. Then I said, I think you're mad at trans women. I think that you're mad at your hard dick. And they went crazy. Like, for me, I don't see why we have to put the hate out there. Do you know what I mean? If you're going to dish it out, be prepared to take it. But as soon as it came back, people were like, fuck this bitch. And it took me out of it, which is fine. I'm perfectly fine with that.
Okay. No, let's not dwell into
what
it.
Can you?
What I was going to say, so what is it for you now? Where are you going with your comedy? What direction do you want to go? What do you want to achieve?
What do I want to achieve with comedy? Well, that's a very good question, because coming from where I came from, I never even thought I would get as far as I got. When I started comedy, I was like, maybe one day I could be a middle act. Do you know what I mean? And then it kept going. Like, if I look back and if I had to look at my 18-year-old Dana that started and say, you're going to do this and this and that, I wouldn't have believed myself. So I think that's a lesson that I think a lot of Black and brown and minority people should know, is that I didn't dream big enough.
Right.
You know what I mean? Sometimes I'm still shocked. I'm like, oh damn, this money's all right. I like being in this country. This is cool. Do you know what I mean? But I think when it comes to comedy, what do I really want to achieve? The things that I want to achieve are not actually comedy related. I think I am achieving what I want. You know what it is? Is that I think in England, it's not really a meritocracy. Like, unless you're with the right agents, it's going to be very difficult for you to get certain gigs. So you got to be like in Canada, it was more meritocratic. So if you're very funny, you know what I mean, this and that, you could propel yourself forward. But in this country, you could kill it every fucking weekend. But if you don't have the right agent, you're not doing shit in this country.
I do. By the way, do you have an agent, Dana, or
no?
No, but
can you imagine losing 15%? Yeah. Well, yeah. You know what? As soon as you have a little bit of television, they're cool. Like, you can get into most places if you have a little bit of telly tape. And I've done maybe 7 or 8 television galas between Canada and the UK. So as soon as you show them that shiny TV tape, you're in.
Gotcha. Would you want to have an agent in terms of for your comedy career?
Yes and no. I mean, I had an agent when I started in this, but I remember once they had I wouldn't leave my country until my diary was full, because I was working in, I wasn't going to go to England, or I wasn't going to be poor in another country. So my agent, he filled it up. But then there's times my diary was really blank. And I remember the girl, he put a child on my diary. And she's like, I'm sorry, Dana, there's no gigs and that. And I was like, oh, really, bitch? And I got on online, and I think I booked like 9 gigs in the space of 4 hours. And I put that into the diary to kind of say, like, I'm not playing with you. If you want to work with me, like, I need to live. Do you know? I went through a lot of drama with my first agent. And then I realized, like, he was paying us quarterly. So I was just like, I was constantly working, having to pay. Like, I had a mental breakdown. I was opening for Puppetry of the Penis. I don't know if you know about that.
No, I don't. Tell us about it.
But anyway, have you not seen Puppetry of the Penis?
No, I haven't, honestly. What is it about?
These crazy ass white men, they take their penis and they change it to all kind of puppet shapes. And it's a whole show, and these middle-aged women, they got that shit in 3. I was in Puppetry of the Penis 3D, okay?
What was your part in that?
I was the opening act, no pun intended.
Okay.
It was yeah, these two little, well, one American who was like, rah, and the other one was a very posh British guy who made his life from Santos. Tried to get me to stop doing small dick jokes before. I'm like, bitch, no. I remember doing that show, and I did their whole tour, or half of their tour, and my money wasn't coming in. I was still having to pay for my travel. So I was really getting into a financial situation because I was being paid quarterly. So I was working all the time, trying to get these. And you know how it is in Britain, right? Like, if you buy your ticket, I didn't have the money to buy it in advance because, like, I was on this deficit from 3 months, you know?
Yeah.
So eventually I just realized the thing for me was 2 things with my agent. She offered me some gig, and I said, you don't actually have to take the first offer. You can get it up. And I started talking through how to get money up. When I left, she said to me, I wouldn't have learned how to percent of my income and train you. Are you fucking crazy? Do you know what I mean? For swearing, I don't know if you swear.
No,
I'll stop that. But and the other thing is, the bigger agent said to me when I started getting gigs he couldn't get for me, and he would say to me, how did you get that gig? And I was like, what am I doing? I'm not giving you 15. And then I started doing this exercise every single time on the road. I would calculate how much I'd be paying back to an agent if I had an agent. And that money is a lot. So once you're in the clubs, I'll never the one thing is my agent was very good. He got my foot in that door, especially when I got Russell Howard and Edinburgh Comedy Festival, the television galas were just kind of open to me. But then I didn't really need him anymore. Do you know what I mean? Because certain clubs, they book in blocks. They'll come to you and they'll say, hey, what's the half year of your availability, like Glee, and they'll take up 7 weeks. And when you actually calculate that money, it's significant.
So it's almost like a catch-22, though. Sometimes you need the agent to get you through the door, but once you're in the door, it's like, why do I need the agent anymore? That's basically what you're saying.
Yeah, but for the television stuff, not every agent is the best agent. Like my agent wasn't good for television. Like funny enough, I got television with him, but he doesn't really get his clients a ton of telly. Do you know what I mean? He's really good on the open, like not the open mic, but the live circuit. But I'm good on the live circuit too. And I think we're even better on the live circuit sometimes than a lot of the agents, because nobody's going to be more incentivized about how much money you make than you.
I get that.
Right?
So yeah, I get it. So okay. So where is it then for you then? What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? What do you want to be?
Do you want to know what I'm doing right now? Do you want to know what I'll pour my heart out. I came to I just got in a breakup. Got in a breakup. A long time coming breakup. And I was like, you know what? I need a fucking break. So I came here because I remember I was here on a vacation years ago, and they have these like islands with just inhabited by monkeys in the middle of the sea. I know this sounds crazy, right? But I was smoking some joints. I was on some boat tour years ago, and I was just like, oh my gosh, what if these monkeys take over the boat? And then I had a whole idea for a children's movie. I know that sounds so crazy, but I came back and I did the same tour again, and I'm starting to develop that idea. And if I'm honest, when I get older, I'm going to book comedy and write. But I'm a funny bitch too, so don't ever sleep on me. I'll always put it down in the club, anytime, anywhere.
Well, it's funny to say that because you're doing my club in a couple of weeks' time anyway. So I hope you're back in the UK for that.
I've not forgot. You know what though? I did make a mistake. But I had a mental break. Not a mental breakdown, but I was like, you know what, girl, you've been through a lot. You just need to like give yourself 8 days. You know.
I call this behind the funny because the people don't see what goes on behind the scenes of a comedian. They think every time they see us, we're supposed to be making them laugh. But you just mentioned you're having sort of like a breakdown type thing, and you're not the only one that has. What type of breakdown are you going through? I mean, you don't have to.
Well, I had a breakup. So I was with a guy who he didn't really have his place sorted out. Do you know what I mean? And I was helping him out a lot, so I didn't do what I would normally do, like take off to Asia for 2 months. Like I used to just do whatever I wanted to do. So I was more, ever since lockdown, or as I call it, the cockdown. Hey, joking. But I was never in like long-term relationships until lockdown. And I thought maybe, I need to kind of settle down a bit. So I won't get into the details of a relationship because I do respect him, and he's not a bad person or anything like that. But I was kind of holding back my touring because of his presence. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand. You're compensating, for the relationship.
No, we were together for 2 years. So I kind of cut down I still did international gigs, but I didn't do them with the frequency that I used to,
Right.
But I realized my heart is in, I've been traveling. I love seeing this world. And now that I can do that again, I'm without having to worry about a boyfriend. I'm on it.
Do you find that then comedy, having a relationship, it causes sacrifices to a comedian's career?
I think it's different when you're a man versus when you're a woman. I think when you're a man, it's really good, especially if your woman's working. Well, I don't know how many kids you have and how many women, but
easy
generalities. But I know a lot of stay-at-home dad comics. Do you know what I mean? So their woman goes to work and they stay home with the kids. She comes back at 4 o'clock. They have their little dinner together, and he he may jump on the road for his little Thursday night gig or whatever, but it works really well for men. I think for women, men don't understand women that go away for 3 months. Men don't understand women that go away every weekend. So for me, you got to get on that young dick because they see the future.
Dana.
I'll never stop being a comic because that's easy money. Who else has to work 20 minutes a day? Besides, even prostitutes have to work longer than 20 minutes a day.
To get what you're
Who's going to quit that job? So long as I have a voice and a brain, I'll always be a comedian. You see me in my casket. Even at my funeral, I'll be running jokes.
Yeah. That is hilarious.
Even in my casket, I will.
What is your comedian style like? Describe your style to the people.
Irreverent.
Okay.
I think that I just, you know what? It's funny. I feel like I'm always between two worlds because I'm not like, sometimes when I do the urban shows, I feel like they think I'm white. But then also too, I don't know. What is my style? I'm just me. I think it's so hard to describe yourself. I don't think I do have I'm quite boisterous, but I'm also quite calm at the same time, as I know as soon as you get too hyped up, you're an angry Black woman. So I'm pretty chill for the most part. I'm very worldly. I think I'm one of those comics. You know what it is? I can relate to anybody. That's me. That's what it is. I can put me in front of anybody. I'll relate to. They speak English. I will make them laugh.
Brilliant. That's what I wanted to hear. That is absolutely brilliant. Dana, it's been a pleasure talking to you. You're funny as hell. Oh my God, Dana, this has been a pleasure. Where can people find you in terms of social media?
Well, my name is Comedian Dana on Twitter and Instagram. Some dirty gal that I worked with tried me and got my whole YouTube deleted. Never mind her. But yeah, so Comedian Dana on Instagram, TikTok. There's stuff of me on YouTube. I'm around. You know what? Yeah, I'm around. I'm around. You know what? Yeah, that's where I am.
People, if you want to see Dana, please welcome. But she will be on my show, but I don't know what time they're going to air this. But she will be on my show called Peter Francis and Friends and Comedy Showcase, which is happening in March. But I don't know when they're going to air this, so I might not be able to edit. This has to be edited out. All right, Dana, thank you very much for coming on Behind the Funny. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Dana Alexander, and please subscribe to the channel. It's been wonderful. There's more to come. Take care of yourself.
Kapun ka.